So last week all the talk was about the Champions Cup and the upsets in that. We had the British and Irish Lions squad announcement, and the URC just decided, bang, I hope you didn't forget about us, because round 17 was absolutely beautiful. We've got 5 teams now confirmed with Leinster, Bulls, Glasgow, Sharks, Stormers, and the other 3 spots, right, 6, 7, 8, is on a knife edge. It is absolutely scintillating rugby at the moment, and we're going to chat all about it. Now, my apologies, I know I didn't do a preview this weekend, just got a bit busy, right? But I'll definitely do the review. That's obviously what we're doing now, and then we'll have our preview, let's say, Thursday, to come out for the final round of URC before we get into the real business end, which is the quarterfinals, right? So, if you do like your rugby, you do like just talking a bit of shit when it comes to rugby, that's basically all I do from a fan perspective. We just enjoy talking about the game, so hit that like and subscribe button. We started off Friday night with a banger. The Sharks back from tour in the Shark Tank, taking on the Ospreys, and the Ospreys really needed this victory. But the Sharks, is it the most prettiest? Is it the most attractive? Probably not, but it's very effective. And once again, 29 points to 10 victors over the Ospreys, it's been a very upsetting season for the Ospreys, but let's not beat around the bush. They've had like 1 million injuries. Now the Sharks have also had 1 billion injuries, but obviously a couple of the names that they had out is coming back, you know. So we saw Andre Esterhuizen out for a long time, but he's back. Lucanio I'm not too sure. Lucanio was back, but he might be out again. Apelile Fassi, you know, big names, big hitters for the Sharks, all coming back right at the exact point that they actually need them, right? But obviously there's a massive injury crisis surrounding Eben Etzebeth. For the Sharks, that's not great, but for the Springboks, that is absolutely horrible. I mean, the guy's been like one of our most important players, if not the most important player for us, for the past 12 years, right? Which is absolutely ridiculous. But the Sharks just keep on ticking. They've given themselves a chance to even go into 3rd spot now, and we'll speak about Glasgow in a second. But that's obviously what you want. Give yourself an extra chance to maybe host a semi-final, and if you're lucky, maybe even host the final. So the Sharks, you can't be too bothered. You're very happy with that. You'll take that all day long. Then we had Munster taking on Ulster. Munster needed this. Still sitting in 8th, right? But a massive victory over Ulster. I mean, if you think there's an upset on the horizon, and then you have not an upset on the horizon, a derby is always the potential for an upset on the horizon, right? So for Munster to go away, get a comfortable victory over Ulster, get your 5 points, keep moving, you'll take that all day long, knowing that if you just beat your rivals, in terms of for the top 8, Benetton, who they are facing this weekend, you've got it. And I just can't see a quarterfinals without Munster in it, right? And the same almost goes for Benetton, right? But Benetton also pulled out an absolutely mammoth performance against Glasgow this weekend. But for Munster, you'll take that. Munster will fancy their chances against anyone. It doesn't matter if it's home or away. I think Munster is that one team where you just don't write them off. For the Stormers, if we had to go and travel to Glasgow now, right, I wouldn't be the most comfortable guy. But when it's Munster, even if they have to travel to fucking Loftus, right, where the Bulls are, you'd still kind of back them to win, because they just always find a way to do it. So Munster, you'll take that all day long. Then talking about the Bulls, we had the Bulls taking on Cardiff. And Cardiff, what a bad weekend this is for them. Not in terms of how they played, right? Like the Bulls were absolutely brilliant this weekend. 45 points to 21. But for Cardiff, who was sitting in 5th, right? They were above the Stormers. 1 loss. That just tells you how close it all is. 1 loss against the Bulls. They got nothing from the game. They're going to sit in 9th. That is so sad, right? Because no one really expected Cardiff to get the victory there. Now they have to go their final game of the season. Maybe their final game of the season. They have to go to Cape Town and beat the Stormers, which I don't think will happen. Right? It's such a tough thing for Cardiff because they've been so good this season. If I'm not mistaken, at a certain point they were like 3rd or 4th, right? And they were cruising in there. And now it just feels like that 1 loss against. Couldn't they have got like 1 point? Give them 1 point, because I mean, there's how many? 1, 2, 3. 3 teams sitting on 46 points. 1 more point would have put them right behind Scarlets. It would have given them a little buffer, but now they need an absolutely massive victory against the Stormers. right? But for the Bulls, once again, the form just continues. On the road, we spoke about it. Back home, playing with confidence. This is the Bulls that we know the quality that they have. We know the quality of rugby that they can play. And they're doing it because Cardiff is no walkover victor. Like, I mean, we've said it before. Cardiff is that team that don't lose by much, but they don't win by much, but they know how to make it scrappy. They know how to make it ugly and get over the line in those situations. And the Bulls just played rodeo stampede out there. And the Bulls will fancy their chances against anyone at the moment. I mean, that's their first game back. But if you look at their performances that they had on the road against Glasgow and against Munster, they look very, very good. Could this be the Bulls' year? I hope I just jinxed it, because obviously they're our rivals. As you can see, the Western Province. Then you had Benetton versus Glasgow. Massive victory. Now, I know Glasgow's got a million injuries at the moment. But Glasgow needed this victory. I know this was a big one for them, because obviously we don't expect them to go to the Aviva and beat Leinster in the final week. But they needed this one to kind of stay ahead of the Sharks, secure that home. Well, obviously they have already secured the home quarterfinal, but kind of give themselves a great chance to secure a home semi-final as well. Now that's tough, because obviously you have to play a tougher opponent. If you go into the semi-finals and you play a tougher opponent in the quarterfinal. For Benetton, absolutely massive. Never write these guys off for top 8 shootout. They're always there. They're always in the mix. And they're hosting they're going to Munster. Now, this will be very interesting, because I'm not writing off Benetton by any stretch of the imagination. They've been very good this season. They have had a couple of injuries. But Benetton's just that team. I mean, I thought the Lions would comfortably beat Benetton, and then you just saw one of the great performances by them. Clinical, counter-attacking rugby. And then the next week, they go to the Stormers, and they just stink it out a bit, right? But Benetton, I wish there was a world where we could see a draw between these two teams. I want both of them to qualify. Like, I would feel like it's a sad thing if one of the two didn't qualify. Like, that's an Irish big eater. You know they need to be there, and that is the Italian big eater. Needs to be there. But anyway, then you had the Stormers taking on the Dragons. Obviously, it's not too much to say regarding this. I mean, we all expected the Stormers to win. Obviously, there's massive news in terms of Mani Lubbock asking or requesting to be released from the contract. But I'm just happy that the Stormers are finally playing some rugby. I know it was just the Dragons, so I'm not going to over-egg the pudding. But Sasha's been on great form. Damien Willems had a sensational weekend. Also, his 100th game for the Stormers. I mean, the guy is legendary. I love Damien Willems more than I love any other player. That's why I'm saying he's the best player in the world. But the Stormers hitting form at the right time. Obviously, we went through the season with about 15 injuries. So that's why I tried to stay calm in terms of knowing that the big boys have to come back and you can't write off the season. And now that the big boys are back, we are performing better. The defence is looking better. That's the main thing for me, just the defence. Because we watched that Connacht game, it was absolutely dreadful. But then the Benetton game, so much better. This game was absolutely great. And the clinicalness is there, right? So from Stormers' perspective, I'm happy. I actually had a tweet today, someone talking about like the South African teams avoiding each other in the quarterfinals, and I said, well, I would rather just stay in South Africa and play either the Bulls or the Sharks, because it's in South Africa, because I just can't see us travelling and winning. And the thing is, like, we've done great now, but those are kind of at home. I know we beat the Scarlets on the road, but we lost against Ulster, for instance, on the road, where we should have won. And you just don't know with the South African teams when we travel. So let me know what you think about that. If you're a Stormers fan, would you rather play the Sharks or the Bulls in the Shark Tank or at Loftus, or would you rather travel to Glasgow and play there? Because I know as South Africans you're supposed to have a smile on your face with all the other South African teams. No. I don't care really about the other South African teams as long as the Stormers do well. Leinster, Zebra, I mean, can you say it's a statement victory? This is just a bit sad, right? Like, we all know how good Zebra has been this season. They deserve a lot. And now they've got a seat at 76 points. It could have even been more. Like, it is great. Jordie Barrett looked like a man possessed. I mean, he got man of the match, and that was like just screaming, why did you put me on the bench for that semi-final? He was absolutely brilliant. James Lowe was great. Josh van der Vliet absolutely everywhere. Jack Conan had about 10,000 run meters as well. Just clinical by Leinster. That looked like a team that was hurt after what happened in the Champions Cup. And poor Zebre were the beneficiaries of it. Not beneficiaries, but like they had to take that tumbling. 76 points to 5. Goodness gracious. That is a lot to concede. Connacht against Edinburgh. Edinburgh with a massive, massive victory. Keeping their hopes alive for a playoff. Because I'm trying to think what needs to happen for Edinburgh to go through. Okay, well, either Benetton or Munster has to lose. Cardiff has to lose. And Benetton need to win. If they can win with the bonus points and everyone above them loses, in terms of who's Scarlets playing? Let me see. Might be missing something. Scarlets playing the Sharks. So there's a massive likelihood that Benetton somehow end up in 6th. Right from 10th in the final week. So Edinburgh they'll have to pull out a massive performance. Taking on Ulster, it's not an easy thing, but if they can somehow come away with 5 points in that one, wow. Then they've given themselves a shot, right? And a proper shot at it. So, yeah, massive, massive win for Edinburgh there. And then finally you had the Lions taking on the Scarlets on Sunday. Massive victory for the Scarlets. 19 points to 32, going to Emirates Airline Park. Stadium was kind of empty. Very disappointing to see that. But I mean, what's the real traction there? Like, the Lions have really struggled this season. Scarlets isn't like the biggest name, so people aren't necessarily going to come out on a Sunday to go and watch that. But you would have wanted a bigger crowd out there. But massive for the Scarlets, keeping their position in 6th on 48 points. They'll be hoping for a Cardiff upset over the Stormers, because they can go up even higher. Right, but yeah, everyone, thank you for watching. Please do remember to hit that like and subscribe button. I do appreciate you guys. And I will probably see you tomorrow for a fan forum. Or maybe Wednesday. Thank you.